Welcome to Comfort Zone, a podcast all about pushing your hosts, outside of their comfort zone. I'm Christopher Lawley, and each week I am joined by two incredible co-hosts. As always, I am joined by Matt Berther. Matt, how are you doing?
I'm doing swell.
That's good. And we are also joined by Niléane. Niléane, how are you?
I am well, and I have a drink.
Ooh.
It's a tourtel, of course.
What is that?
So
It looks like a Sprite.
it's a alcohol-free beer. But it's very sweet, and this one is lemon.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Interesting.
And here's proof that it's alcohol-free. So I'm not lying. I'm not drinking on the job. It's a really good summer drink. I love it.
Because
Nice.
we take our show very, very, very seriously. No drinking on the job.
Of course.
This is a very serious podcast that never ever gets derailed. It stays on track.
French listeners will know tourtel. It's a well-known summer drink.
Nice.
Nice.
Chris, you're subtly implying that we do drink while we podcast, which I don't think is true.
Is this really Dr. Pepper? I don't know.
That would be the most shocking thing ever.
Whiskey. It's whiskey. Whiskey in a can.
No. It's 8:30 in the morning here. So
I'm in the middle of my workday.
There we go. So I got a tiny topic for us. Last week we talked about our video game setups, and I mentioned I was playing Tears of the Kingdom because I never finished it when it originally came out on the first Switch. The Switch 2 got an updated version where it's running 4K, 60 frames per second, and has HDR and like the Zelda Notes app and stuff. Well, I have since finished Tears of the Kingdom, and I just want to say, if you were somebody that bounced off Tears of the Kingdom, I honestly, I am for the life of me cannot remember why I didn't finish it when it originally came out. Like when Breath of the Wild came out, I did not put that game down until I finished it. I don't know why I didn't do the same with Tears of the Kingdom. But I have since rectified that wrong. And holy crap, this is the best ending to a Zelda game ever. Like the ending is amazing. It is so worth the payoff. The final boss fight is fantastic. I will say, okay, Breath of the Wild has the best start to any Zelda game ever. The Great Plateau is perfection. Tears of the Kingdom has the best ending to a Zelda game ever.
Okay.
And if you play them as one concurrent thing, you get the best beginning and the best ending. I don't know. So my point, my PSA is, if you bounced off Tears of the Kingdom for whatever reason, you never completed it, whether you have the Switch 1 or the Switch 2, go back, finish it. It's worth the time. It was fantastic.
Nice.
Chris, this is another instance of we might be the same person 2 time zones apart. Breath of the Wild is one of my favorite games of all time.
I completely agree.
It's unbelievably good.
Yeah.
I too bounced off Tears of the Kingdom a little bit after launch. I think because it was too much in the building. I was like, it wasn't resonating with me initially, but I came back to it.
Can I give a tip to you just really quick? For anyone out there that the building might be a little too much, there is a quest line, and you can look it up. You're not going to spoil anything, where you get a feature called auto build. And then the Yaga Guild quest line is where you fight the Yaga Master thing. Do that, and you get a whole bunch of like auto build blueprint things. Do that. It makes your life so much easier. But please continue. I just want to give that PSA.
Yeah. No, that is... I remember when I got that, and then I basically never used it because, listener, you do not have to build almost anything in this game if you don't really want to. You can build the bare minimum. You can put just like a couple boards together for most things. It doesn't have to get crazy. You don't have to go wild. But I beat the game, and yes, absolutely. The ending is astounding. It is not just like good for Zelda stories. It is genuinely like intense and emotional in a way I did not see coming.
It is probably one of the best endings to a video game ever. It is up there. There is a lot of games where you get to the I would say like Breath of the Wild. You get to Calamity Ganon, and the fight is really easy, especially if you have all the did all the other side missions and you get all the unlocks. Calamity Ganon was incredibly easy. The boss, and I don't want to spoil it for anyone that hasn't played it, but the boss fight in the final Tears of the Kingdom is challenging, especially if you do all the stuff leading up to it, because of where it is. Spoilers. It can be a little challenging if you're not prepared for it, but the payoff is amazing. But anyways, that's my Tears of the Kingdom rant.
My partner is still playing Tears of the Kingdom, but like they're basically done with the game, and they just won't let it go. They just doing every little quest possible, talking to every PNG. What? Not PNG. NPC. PNG is in French. It's the acronym in French.
Oh, is it PNG? Interesting.
That is interesting.
Personnage
I thought you were like
non-joueur.
making fun of. I thought you were making fun of NPCs and just calling them like image files.
Yeah, NPC, personnage non joueur. Anyway, so yeah, and they won't let it go.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's a sign of a great
fantastic. Yeah, no, I did a lot of the side quests. I did a ton of the shrines. I had over like 30 hearts when I completed the game, and I had the full stamina bar. Wonderful. Anyways, let's move on from that. Just play it if you've got it and you haven't finished it. We have one other thing in the tiny topics, and honestly, I would suspect Matt put this here, but I kind of have a feeling Niléane did.
Yeah, so I wrote in the document, hey guys, I found this new web browser. It's really nice. It's called Arc.
I knew she was going to do that. I knew it.
So guys, somebody ruined my web browser for me last week. A friend of mine.
Oh, I thought she was talking about us and like
no,
the
not true. Not this time. So a friend of mine, I was talking to them about my Safari setup. And so, my whole spiel, I have 4 profiles that I have to juggle every day, all day long. It's a nightmare, honestly, that I've managed with keyboard shortcuts and Better Touch Tool, etc. And they told me, like, would this not be extremely simple if you used Arc? And I was like, that's kind of true, but I don't really like that company. So what I did is I installed Zen browser again instead, and I used Zen browser for about a day, just a full day, and try to set up. So Zen browser has a similar UI, basically ripping off Arc browser. Good for them. So it's got a sidebar that you can switch, you can slide through, and you have multiple sidebars which you can assign to containers, which is basically the same as Arc's spaces, where you isolate your cookies and logins, etc. Basically profiles. And yeah, so Zen is fine, but it's so much worse than just using Arc. So I installed Arc browser the next day again on my Mac and tried to do the same. So reset up all my 4 profiles in 4 Arc sidebars, and same with Zen browser. And like, it ruins it for you when you compare the two, because Zen browser is just trying to do the same, but it's worse in every single way. Like, the UI is worse, it's clunkier, there are less options. Honestly, it's laggy. The UI is laggy in some places, and you try to do the same thing in Arc, and it's basically the browser company. They made a complete browser, and still don't know why they're not happy with it. It's really good. So what I've done for the past few days is I've switched back to Arc browser. And my reasoning for that is basically, if I want to get a better browser experience, there's not much else that can fit my use case, where I have to switch between 4 different profiles every few minutes on a daily basis. And considering the company that makes those browsers, the companies that make those browsers, like, they're all kind of awful. So what what kind of standard are we at here? Okay, Safari is Apple, and Apple is basically ruining Safari in the Tahoe. So it's not getting better at all. This is a long-running thread, but I'm so worried about Tahoe, guys. The UI, Safari in Tahoe looks horrendous. I don't know how I'm going to deal with that. And like Chrome is awful because Google is awful. Firefox is awful because basically the Firefox has become a garbage, like a huge mess of a UI, of features or whatever. And Mozilla is not great. I'm not installing anything made by the homophobic guy that makes Brave browser or whatever. Anyway, so I'm like, at this point, I'll just use the thing that works. And as far as I know, Josh Miller from the browser company is not a Nazi, so that's a low enough bar to pass.
That's the bar now.
Yes.
The nice thing about the browser companies, we're mostly upset at them about abandoning a very good product.
Yeah, we're upset at them because they have a weird product direction right now. We don't know what they're doing.
Their videos are cringe, and they do some things that are just like,
but they're not Nazis.
evil.
So
not Nazis.
as far as we know. As far as we know.
As far as we know.
Yeah.
And also, my criteria also was like, is Arc browser still being updated? So that's really important for a browser. It needs to have the security patches. It needs to be updated, and it is. Like it got an update yesterday.
Yeah.
Had to restart Arc Together to update. It's not any feature updates, whatever. But they've been updating like on a bi-weekly basis or something like that. They update the Chromium base and they fix bugs. And that's it. But which is perfectly fine considering they made a really good web browser. And I don't know what more I want from it. Like it's really good. So as long as it doesn't get worse and they keep fixing bugs when there are bugs and they keep updating the Chromium engine, I'm fine with that. So I'll see where that goes. Just wanted to tell you all.
I love it. If we can do so my YouTube channel's on a summer break right now. It'll come back in like August or September. And I think the first video I'm going to do when I come back as a teaser is that Arc remains the best browser in the world. I think Zen is close. And I like that it's actively being developed and they're getting closer, but I still whenever I go back to Arc, and I use Arc daily on my work computer, for me, it's perfect. It's great. I adore it. Even though it hasn't got any features, it's still the best.
Bring non-WebKit browsers to the iPad. That's going to be my next campaign. All right. Yeah. Well, let's get in the main show. Yeah. I'm first up in the document here, and I have some app updates for you all. I have some new app and like some changes to the way I've been using some current apps. So first off, I have completely replaced Google as my default search engine. Google the last couple of years has not been at its best. And lately they've been cramming their AI search results up at the top, and their AI search results are not great. And it pushes a lot of the sources, which the sources are the key thing that I want, down. So you have to scroll or something, and scrolling isn't the big deal. I want to be able to quickly jump into things. So I have replaced it with ChatGPT's web search, and I know what you're thinking, dear listener. Is ChatGPT really that much better than Google? As far as companies goes, that's a whole debate. Like Niléane just said, none of them are actually great. So let's just pick the ones that work. And ChatGPT's web search is very, very good. I really like it. Now, their web search is different than their chat box. Like if you're going to chatgpt.com, there is a little button in there that's like you click and it does web searching there. So I have replaced it as my default search engine on iOS and iPadOS. And I know what you're thinking. Oh, did they add ChatGPT as a default search engine provider in iOS 26? No, they did not. But if you install the ChatGPT iOS app, they have a Safari extension. And if you go in and enable that and do the always allow on every website and all that stuff, what this does is it hijacks the the search bar, the URL bar. So if I was to type in Tears of the Kingdom walkthrough, instead of it doing a Google search, which is the default, and if you go into settings, Safari, default web browser, all that stuff, it is set to Google. But instead of doing a Google search, this extension takes that and forwards it over to ChatGPT's web search. Now, the funny thing is it does do that. It opens that Google page for like a fraction of a second and then goes over to ChatGPT. So if you hit the back button, it'll actually go back to those Google search results for that first. But what this will do is it will search the web with ChatGPT. So you will get the search results, you will get the AI, text and all that stuff, but you get the sources. And I love the sources that ChatGPT's web search comes up with. I am clicking those or tapping on those all the time. I love those. I think it just does a much better job than what modern Google is doing. So this has been killer for me for like doing research on a whole bunch of stuff. Like, we are turning my old office area. You guys remember I used to have that office area like outside of the studio.
Yeah.
I'm not using that anymore because I brought everything in here. We're turning that old office area into like a library for Danielle, so she can put all of her books and stuff. Like she wants like this little library area. So I've been doing that to do research on like bookshelves and some furniture and all this other stuff. So like, love that. What I also love is you can follow up. This is something you can't do with Google. So like I can refine my search. So if I search for something and be like, that's not quite it. Hey, focus more on this thing over here. You can refine your search with that, which is really, really nice. It's a really nice feature. And like I said, like just Google's AI search results, I just don't like them. Like they're not accurate. A lot of times they're not accurate. They push sources down. They really want you to just like that to be the be all end all. And I really want to go to the original source. To me, I find that to be really important.
Yeah.
And weirdly, with the AI search tool, I can go to those original sources easier than I can with Google.
So because with Google now you have the full AI thing at the top.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, especially on like if I'm on my iPhone and I'm in Safari, that pretty much takes up the whole page. So
Okay.
like now I got to scroll down and like you have the ads in Google, then you have all the other stuff. So like you're doing a bit of scrolling, whereas with ChatGPT, it's just right there. It gives you a little text summary and it says like, hey, here's, found this piece of information and here's that source. And it's like, oh, that little bit of information, that's what I want, but I need to expand upon that. So tap on that and it jumps to the source and, it goes through all that stuff. So
We still don't have that in France. Like Google
Really?
is not rolling out
Oh.
this AI
Interesting.
thing. Yeah, I don't know if we'll ever getting it, but I'm glad for now.
I mean, I get everyone's hesitation with like AI stuff, but for me, at least for the search engine side of things, I'm just focusing on the search engine side. It's getting me to the sources, the original web pages, whether it's something like Mac Stories or birchtree.me or birchtree.net. Birch.
Trust your
I don't
instincts,
know. I
Padawan.
just type birch tree and it
info.
fills it in.
Birchtree.info.
Birchtree.co.uk.gov.edu. Yeah.
But I was
Anyway.
talking about Google, like the
The
Google's AI feature. That's not rolled out here. We
Yeah.
have ChatGPT search.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought you were talking about ChatGPT. No,
Yeah.
you're lucky not to have the Google one because the Google one's not great. I don't like the Google one.
Yeah. One thing I will say, or two things quick about that. That's exactly what the Kagi extension does on iOS as well. Is it hijacks Google searches, so it'll quickly do a redirect to Kagi with the same thing, which I think is fun that multiple companies have figured out the same trick.
Do you
then
remember
the
that extension I talked about once?
Which one was that?
There's a Safari. I don't remember the name. It's made by the developer who makes Vinegar, the extension. So I talked about the show. On the show, it's an extension that just takes Google search results and cleans them up. So it's really clean and simple, and I really like that for a while.
Mhm.
Nice.
The other thing real quick is if you don't like ChatGPT, but you like that search experience and you want to stick with Google, if you're in that very small Venn diagram potentially, I have found the AI mode search on Google to be much better. And is more similar to the ChatGPT thing. It is a second tap. So like after you do the search and you see the search results at the top, there's an AI mode, and then it does kind of the more ChatGPT style thing. So if you don't like ChatGPT, but you still want that sort of thing, you could give that a go as well.
Yes. And the thing I will say is sometimes I still need Google search results. So like, for example, I was making a reservation for Danielle's birthday, and it was just easier to get the Google search results because the business hours were right there and then the phone number was right there when I type the name of the place in. And that's not something I'm like needing to go to macstories.net for. Like that's just something, like I just need the hours and the phone number, so just give me that in that card. That's fine. So what I did is I used the extension Xsearch, and what Xsearch does is it sets up a whole bunch of shortcuts to search different web pages.
Does it search on X?
No, well, actually, it technically can, but Xsearch was around before Twitter became the website name that I refuse to say because it just makes that one dude mad.
The everything search engine.
Anyways, but what Xsearch does is it has this whole gallery of different websites it can search. So you can go in and you can set up Amazon, you can set up YouTube, you can set up Apple.com. Like there's a whole Wikipedia, like all sorts of different things, and then you get a shortcut. So like I can type YT Matt Birchler or YT a better computer, and it'll show me Matt Birchler's YouTube channel. Or it'll show the search results for a better computer on YouTube, essentially. So it'll show his channel and like videos related to that and stuff. Amazon, you can, search for that and then put a product name, stuff like that. So I set up the Google one. So when I do need to do a Google search still, I just type G and then the Google search, and it still goes straight to Google. So I still have that ability to do Google search on iPhone and iPad, but I don't, but like if I just type something in, it goes straight to ChatGPT. So that's kind of nice.
Yeah, the extension I mentioned is called Lucky for Safari, by the way. And talked about it on the show. Don't remember when, but it was early on in one of the early episodes.
At some point in time, it was mentioned.
Yes.
And then the last app I want to talk about is completely in a different direction, but it is Obscura Studio by friend of the show, Ben McCarthy. Ben is a wonderful human being. I got to hang out with them a couple of times at different WWDCs. And Ben makes an app called Obscura, which is like a really good high-end professional iPhone camera app that gives you raw photos and a bunch of control over taking the photos. Well, Obscura Studio is the other end of that. It is a photo editing app. And we've talked a lot lately about like the prosumer market of like, where is those middle apps? And this is perfectly one of them. This sits in between what you can do in the Photos app and what you can do in something like Lightroom. This is absolutely perfect. You can go in here, you can adjust, exposure, highlights, contrast, black levels, white levels, shadows, all that stuff in here. But it also has filters as well. So you don't have to know what all those controls do. You can go in there and just pick from a few different filters, but then you can jump over to those controls and edit that filter if you want. And then there's things like color controls that you would find in like Lightroom. There's the graph feature, so you can do like S-curves and all those kinds of things. This is a wonderful app. Like Ben put a ton of work into this. And one of my favorite things about this is you can very easily save your own filters. So if you come up with a look that you like for your photo, so you're just playing around with it and you like, oh, I love the way this photo looks. You can save this as your own filter and you can, just use it on any other photo in your library. Now, there is one feature request. So Ben, if you're listening, when you go to pick a photo in Obscura Studio, you have like your photo library. One thing I wish he would add is like a little RAW tag. So like, hey, was this photo taken in RAW? Let me know. Like, Ben, if you're listening, that's the one feature I meant to email you about it, but I totally forgot until right now. But anyways, my point is, this is a lovely app. You can do all sorts of different things with it. You can flag photos. You can basically reject photos. You can do all the stuff that you would do, in Lightroom like that, where you're managing your photos. It's just a wonderfully well put together app. This to me, like, you get the pro controls that you want over a photo. Like you get the controls you want over editing a photo, but you don't get all the wild Lightroom stuff that most people don't know what that does. Like, you have to be like a professional photo editor with 10 years of experience to even know what this feature does. So I've been using this app to edit photos that I take on my iPhone, like personal photos. Like Danielle's birthday was just a week ago, and I took a bunch of photos that day, and I've been editing those in this app. I don't necessarily need that stuff in my Lightroom library. My Lightroom library is like my professional, like this is where I do thumbnails and wallpapers and all that stuff. But this has been a great place of like, hey, I took this photo on my iPhone and like I just want to punch it up a bit. And that's what this has been fantastic for. And it's a great app. Like, if you're just looking to learn how to edit a photo, this is honestly the place I would start, because like I said, it doesn't have the insane controls Lightroom does, but it doesn't need that. You don't, this right here, you learn the basics of how to edit a photo right here. And that is the important bit.
Yeah, I think that's great. Yeah, Ben is awesome. So I fully support this. I actually did not know this existed, so I had just installed it myself.
Yeah, I kind of feel bad for Ben. It was unfortunate timing. It was like right after WWDC when it came out, so I think it got kind of passed over in the news cycle a bit, and so I wanted to highlight it here because it's a wonderful app. I got a little bit of an early test flight, and I've been using it for a couple weeks now, and it's fantastic.
Nice. Yeah, I'm definitely going to go try this out. This is great.
Yeah, and to add on to what you said, what I really like about Obscura, like the original app, is the filters. I think,
yeah.
I'm not sure. I don't know if Ben made all the filters themselves, but they're really good. Like, I really love those filters, especially the black and white ones. They're really nice, and I've been loving to use. I've loved using Obscura just for the filters, and the fact that they are available in Obscura Studio. That's really nice.
I believe Ben made all the filters. They really, really care about photography. Like, just I've got to sat down with them like a couple of times at WWDC. We hung out and stuff, and like they very much care about photography and design and all that stuff. And that's why I just everything they make. Ben even has like this really great like Pokemon app. Like when a new Pokemon game comes out, like it's a must-have on my iPhone for me. Like it's like a full Pokedex. It's fantastic. The way they design things is amazing. So, like anything Ben makes is an immediate download for me.
Yeah, the app is called Ketchup, by the way. I'll put a link in the show notes. It's so good. I use it because I'm a dummy with these Pokemon games. I don't know who to bring to a fight. So, like, when I know who they're going to have, I'm always looking them up and finding who I should bring against them.
Always Charizard.
Agree to disagree.
Anyways, so that's what I have this week. A few app updates for you. If you one new app, go check them out. But yeah, that's what I got.
Nice.
Matt, what do you have for us this week?
Well, I've been putting this off as long as I could. But as I was thinking of what I was going to bring this week, I've run out of things. And so
it's the summer. This is always the hardest time for like coming up with new things. Like you taking time off from your channel is genius right now because there's nothing to cover right now.
Well,
there's nothing. Until we have the public betas, there's nothing we can do right now. So yeah, this is always a hard time of year.
Yeah. So I just took a look at like, what am I doing with my computers right now? And I have been coding so much. It was only 6 months ago, I think. I said, hey, I'm working on an app for iOS. today, I'm pleased to announce, I have 4 apps in the works.
Oh, full suite.
Yes. The Birch Tree bundle is coming along. So
do we only know about 3 of them?
I think
I stopped counting.
You'll forget. It's hard to remember them all. So let's just go through them real quick.
Okay.
These are not available yet. They are available in beta to more Birch Tree subscribers on my blog. So if you want to subscribe, that's a perk.
Hey. Must not Niléane and I are getting a cut of that. I'm just kidding.
But they should be out. A couple of them should be out hopefully in the next month or so because they're getting pretty much there. Some will not be out until iOS 26 is out for reasons that will become apparent. So the obvious one that I'm working on is Quick Reviews 2.0. This is an update to the app that I've had out for a while that lets you review things, create nice images that you post on social media. This is getting a new UI that basically fixes all the bugs of the last one. So there's a bug with editing things that drove me crazy. Cached data makes me want to scream. I need it to be fast, but I also don't understand fully how it works. So, long story short, I have data overriding new data. That's all fixed. So if you ever had the issue in the app where you edited an existing review and then you went back to it and the colors hadn't changed, that is fixed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know what you're talking
it is fixed.
about.
I have been slaving away trying to fix that, and it just took a full rewrite of the entire UI.
Okay.
So I've got some new colorful options for the list views to see a review list. It still does all the things with like letterbox sync and all that good stuff. So I'm really happy with how it's coming along. So that's lovely. Also, it is going to be built around the liquid glass thing, so all the glassy things will be there in the fall when I'm allowed to do that.
Hey, I've got a bottle of glass with liquid.
Yeah, could you email me that bottle, please?
So I need to really close.
It needs to be like the WWDC video where you're like studying how it reflects light and like it just works with physical objects, and I don't know what I'm doing with my hands.
Oh, this is good. The other thing, so I've gotten the UI figured out, and now I'm working on a couple new features. It's not going to be a ton of new features. It's mostly just going to be a usability improvement. The thing that I'm adding, though, is for my alt text fans out there, which should be all of you posting to social media. Previously, there was a setting in the app where you could automatically copy the review text to your clipboard when you like export the image, so that when you go to your Mastodon app or whatever to post it, it's already on your clipboard. You can just paste in the alt text. Lovely. Not everyone wants the same alt text. Some people want to have the score in there. Some of them want the title in there. Some of them want just like their own free-form text. And so now one of the features I've added is the ability to write your own thing. And there's tokens you can use to place the text in there. So if you have your own format for alt text that you would like, you can go ahead and make it now. So nice. I'm very happy about that.
Nice.
That's pretty cool.
So that's an expected thing. That's whatever, 2.0, who cares? The new stuff. So the first new app is one that I made for myself because I was getting overwhelmed with social media. I was annoyed that I felt like the worst version of myself when I was on social media. I didn't feel like I was getting much out of scrolling my feed. I was mostly just getting angry. So I didn't want to be totally disconnected, though, either. So I was trying to figure out what to do. And so this is where app number 2 came in, which is called Besto Masto, which is a app. You'll be amazed to hear the name was not taken. It's the Besto Mastodon. It is an app that you just sign into, and it will pull in the 20 most interesting posts from your feed from basically the last 12 hours or so. So you can just open the app, see what has gotten a lot of engagement from people in your timeline, what's getting a lot of likes, those sorts of things, and then you can close the app. There's a reload button, but that reload button only works once every 60 minutes, so you can't even just hang out in the app. It is actively
That's smart. I like that.
Yeah. It'll actually shake its finger at you and say no, you got to wait. So there's that. I've been using that. It's been really, really good. So it's helped me find a couple fun things without getting sucked into the feed. So that's cool. I am also done a top 8. So if you're old enough to remember MySpace, you could set your top 8. There's a top 8 in this app as well. So if there's up to 8 accounts that you want to really see everything, you can select those accounts, and then you can just see a feed of only them.
So Matt, who's in your top 8?
Obviously, you two take up a quarter of it, and then
Okay. Right answer. Right
I
answer.
some other people. So there's a top 8, and then the other feature that is in there that's pretty cool, and this one won't ship until iOS 26, but there is going to be a feature where that's going to be called Hidden Gems that will use the Apple Intelligence on-device model to look at the other posts that didn't necessarily get as much engagement, but might be interesting to you. It'll be in there, and then there's also a little custom prompt box where you can say, like, I'm interested in, and it could prioritize those sorts of posts. So that's pretty rad. So
that's cool. You told us about that Hidden Gems idea, and I was like, that's genius. That's exactly what I want. So I can go in there and put iPad OS, and make sure anything related to that gets surfaced. I like that.
Yeah. Any questions about this app?
So is it a good idea to launch 4 apps at once?
Yes.
Okay, good. No, I really like the. So I have a real comment now. I really like the Mastodon app idea. I think it's a thing that more social media, not social media, more Mastodon clients especially should do. And I would love for Ivory to add something like that. But they won't, and you will. So there you go.
Yeah.
Will you have a setting to choose your to choose? I know the answer, but I'm asking for the audience. A setting to choose the client to open into.
Ooh, that's a great call. So this app will support the ability for you to post single posts to your feed, and it will let you like and boost posts that are shown in the app, but it won't let you reply, and it won't show you replies. So if you want to see the rest, you can tap on a post to see it in the web browser or in Ivory, or if I can figure out Mona's URL scheme, which I figured would be easy, but I have not found. So anyone who knows how Mona's URL scheme works, please let me know. To open it in your own, whatever client you actually typically use, and then you can do more.
That's really cool.
Yeah. And this app, I guess not 100% confirmed, but I think this is just going to be a free app that I'm just going to release and people can use because it's not super complicated. And yeah, I would just like to have a free app out there that people enjoy.
And the Mastodon API doesn't cost much.
Doesn't cost anything, no. Thankfully. So yeah. This was a classic case of I want to solve my own problem with an app, and I don't think anything exists that does this, so wanted to make it. The last two are for what exactly we're doing right now, and these are 2 apps called Quick Chapters and Quick Subtitles.
Whee!
And so Quick Subtitles is the first one. This one won't launch until the OS 26s are out. This uses the new voice transcription on-device model that is available to apps to create high-quality transcripts on your device, and you can export it as an SRT. I have also, that is the core function. You record a podcast, you edit it, you throw the MP3 or the video file. You could do this for YouTube videos too. Throws it in, it creates a subtitles file in a couple seconds, typically.
Yeah, Matt's underplaying it. I ran this on my iPhone 16 Pro the other day on our last episode, which was like a little over an hour and 20 minutes. And it exported it in, what did I say, 1 minute and 40 seconds or something like that?
Yeah.
Or was it even faster than that?
It should be a little quicker. It's usually just about 1 minute per episode for us is what I've seen on my phone, which is crazy.
That's crazy.
That's wild. I'm trying to find it, but for some reason iOS 26 is not showing me images that we sent. Oh, here it is, right here.
Maybe it's showing you, but it's too transparent. It's liquid glass problem.
I apologize to Matt. I besmirched his name. He can challenge me to a duel if he wishes. But it finished it. Our last episode, which was over an hour and 20 minutes long, and it finished transcribing it on an iPhone 16 Pro in 1 minute and 14 seconds.
It's pretty good.
That is very efficient. Very efficient. And it's accurate too. It's very accurate. Like, I find it to be just about as accurate as Whisper transcription is. So
yeah, I would agree. It's definitely in the ballpark. Maybe ever so slightly not as good as Whisper, but way quicker than Whisper and available on mobile devices. The Whisper model, like, that is very good, is not available on iOS or iPadOS. Like, yeah, so I think it's pretty cool. And to be clear, I did zero work in making this model fast or smart.
and the best part about this, as opposed to like another app that's like downloading like the Whisper model, is you're using the on-device model that's already there.
Yeah.
So the file size of the app is small because you're not having to download another model. Whereas like if you use the Whisper transcription app on iOS, you have to download like it's almost like a gig or something like that.
It's a couple gigs, yeah.
Yeah, locally in order to do this, and it's still not the good model.
Yeah, no, it's pretty rad. The other thing I did in this app, and this is a new thing that you guys haven't seen yet because it's not in the beta yet, is so what I wanted to do. So again, this is an app specifically made for me because every week I make subtitles for this podcast. Chris, I think you do as well. And I also want help with writing the show notes. So I write the show notes and I try to get links to everything we talked about in there. I write some of them while we're recording. I always miss things, and I try to remember them while I'm listening back to the episode. But I still miss things. And so what I typically do is I actually use Gemini for this, but I feed the transcript into Gemini and say, what did we say would be in the show notes? And it finds the things. And it's super, super helpful. And so I was like, Apple Intelligence. I can do that with the on-device model. That's great. After it's transcribed, I'll feed it into Apple Intelligence and it'll tell me the same thing. And there's no need for any fancy accounts or anything. Well, I have become spoiled by large context windows in these fancy models. The on-device model in Apple Intelligence will not read a podcast transcript. It is way, 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 way too big. I think it'll read like 10% of it or something. So, yeah, so I'm going to have a bring your own key situation. Bring your own Gemini key or OpenAI key, and it'll do that. But I do have that working right now where you can, after the transcript's created, after you wait the whole minute for it to happen, you can toggle over to analyze, and it'll find all the things you said would be in the show notes and give it to you. So I'm very happy about this. This is going to be great for me.
That's pretty cool. Now, feature request. Is it just looking for, hey, this will be in the show notes? Could you also add this will be in the description so I can use this for YouTube videos?
I could adjust the prompt. Yes, I could.
Okay. Because, YouTube videos are descriptions, podcasts are show notes. So,
that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's pretty cool.
Everything in the doobly-doo or whatever your YouTuber of choice says. Okay. Last one. Too many apps. The last one.
How many is that now?
We're up to 4.
Just 4?
This is the 4th. Yep.
Okay. This is the 4th. Okay.
The 4th. This one is called Quick Chapters, and this one is the only one where I'm trying to replace an app that I already have in my workflow. And that app is Forecast, which is an app Marco Arment made, which is awesome. You just feed it an audio file and you can add chapters to it, showing it like you can add some of the metadata, you can add chapter art, all that stuff. It's very, very good, but it could be better. And Marco isn't really working on it. So the main thing I wanted to do was make entering the chapters easier with keyboard shortcuts. So being able to just tab and hit Control Enter or Command Enter to create a one, and then have the focus go to the right field so I can just do the next one. I create these chapters every single week. I know the pain points that I personally have, so I'm trying to address those pain points. So what I'm trying to make is basically Forecast but by me. So it's going to be similar, but this is going to let you add chapters to audio files, export them. I'm working on chapter art, working on links for the chapters, so trying to get some of that stuff in there. But I've used it for the last couple episodes we've made, so as long as those chapters have shown in your podcast app, there it is working. But it's going so well. I'm actually very happy about this one, and it's a universal app, so it'll work on the iPad and iPhone as well. So, Chris, if you wanted to add chapters to an episode and you're working from the iPad, you would be able to do that.
That's a topic for another week.
Okay.
Whenever the public beta comes out. Yeah.
Okay.
That's a whole nother topic.
Yep.
Matt, so I have a question. At which point do you think you could, and maybe you've thought about this already, you could ship an app that's like that combines all of these features? Like it's a dedicated post-production podcast app.
So
where you can do all of it in it.
Yeah. This is something I have considered. Yes. So I started doing the chapters thing like the day after WWDC because I was like, oh, this is obviously what I want to do. And I'm sure there'll be like 50 apps that do this when the OS's launch. So I just started making that. And now it's working. And it's reliable and it's good. And I did the chapters one. And it's working, and it's reliable, and it's good. And I could merge them, but I'm so worried I'm going to break things, or it's going to be like, I don't know. So maybe I should make a fifth app that's...
I'm going to disagree with Niléane here. I think they should be separate apps because the transcription thing could be used for a lot more than
That's
just...
true.
Like my mom right now is bugging me for a good transcription app on her iPhone that could just listen to a phone call or take an audio file and transcribe it because she has to do that for meetings for work. And I haven't really found one that works in her way, but like, you know, maybe like I could see a version of your transcribe app that integrates CallKit and is able to transcribe calls and stuff like that. I think that they can do that.
Oh, is that a thing? Interesting.
50% sure. Maybe not.
That's not high.
Maybe 40%. I don't know. It's a feature request from my mom to you, Matt.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't disappoint my mom. She's a lovely person. But like I could see like the transcribe app could be used for a lot more than just podcasts, whereas the chapters thing is very podcast specific. So I think keeping them as separate apps makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah, it is I do like, Niléane, I think you are onto something with the idea of this kind of like podcast post-processing app where you do it all in one place. Like, okay, this file's ready to go. I want a transcript. I want show notes. I want to add chapters. Like, honestly, the dream, like, and I don't understand why it's so bad at it, but like these LLMs, I feel like should be able to auto suggest where to put the chapters for you. Every time I've tried to do this, they are so bad at it. It's so wrong. Like always wrong. I really wish they could help me with that. But
what was
really
that?
loud motorbike went by. My window is closed, by the way, and so that was really loud. Okay,
That was
Wow. Well, with that, yeah. So I've mostly been working on coding stuff. So yeah, 4 apps in the works. I hope that's enough.
You have a full-time job, a YouTube channel, a website, and a podcast plus 4 apps. I think you're good.
Yeah, I've cut myself off, by the way. There will be no more new apps this year.
This year.
We'll see what
We're halfway
happens.
through the year,
this
by
month.
the way.
Yeah.
Maybe next month.
You know.
We'll see. Who knows? All right. Well, that was awesome. I really liked hearing kind of how you're doing. I want to check in with you closer to iOS 26 ship date and kind of see how all this is going for you. But yeah, let's get into the challenge. Niléane, it was your challenge. What did you have us do for this week?
Yeah, I inaugurated a new kind of challenge. And I think it's a fun one. The challenge was, Matt and Chris, you will compete to sell me on a new physical accessory and I will let you present what you've picked, and I will pick the winner and order the winner's accessory. The accessory must be under $40, and I must be able to order it from France, obviously.
The under $40 was the challenge bit for me.
Yeah.
That was I had a lot of ideas.
There's
but
a
when
lot
it
of good
came-
stuff that's $70.
Oh my gosh. I found one thing that was $43. I was so annoyed. It was $43. I was so annoyed. But anyways,
I will explain maybe after you've presented why I picked specifically $40.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So
Matt, you wanna
whoever
go
wants to go
first, or-
first.
I do want to go first, and I didn't put it in the show notes because I didn't want Chris to get any ideas what he was competing with. And honestly, I'm not super confident in it. But here we go.
I'm
so,
excited.
what I wanted to do was find something like, what does Niléane really want? What does she need in her tech life? And I started thinking about, well, obviously something orange. And I started looking at like nice orange cables, and I was like, she's already got these. She doesn't want a cable. If I come to the show with a cable, I'm gonna just be laughed out of the room.
I've got a lot of cables.
Yeah, I feel like you're set on cable, so none of that. And then I was like, oh, it'd be great. Let's get an orange desk mat. And then I scrolled through our chat history, and I was like, what does she have right now? And I'm pretty sure you have a yellow or orange desk mat already.
I have
and
a yellow, mustard yellow desk mat.
So that out the window as well. But I didn't give up. And I was thinking, okay, let's think more recently. What's going on? And you've mentioned a few times the annoyance of the heat waves that have been going through France. And it's just so hot. And we know that our phones struggle when it gets hot. And so what I have brought is the brilliantly titled Hagibis Magnetic Cell Phone Cooler Ultra Thin Cooling Fan that connects to the back of your phone with
MagSafe. Is there a link
MagSafe.
now?
There is a link.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I don't know if you can order it from France, but it's on Amazon, so I'm really
I hope
hoping.
you can't.
Oh, it's a MagSafe thing?
It's a MagSafe fan that connects to the back of your phone and just spins and cools your phone for you.
There's no way this does anything to your phone.
What is this?
There's no way this does anything.
Okay, I can say it now. The reason why I picked $40 is because I knew things like that would come up. Like if you pick a low enough bar, weird things will pop up on Amazon. So yeah, I'm happy already.
Okay, good. Because the options were either boring as hell or questionable utility, but potentially cool. And I went literally cool. So I think that's worth something. And it's half the price. It's half the budget. I don't know what it is in euros, but it's $16.99 in the US. That is cheap.
Check if it's on Amazon France.
Oh, please.
I mean, I can order from Amazon.com anyway.
No, you said the rules of the challenge said it had to be available in France.
Yeah, but I mean, it ships to France.
Okay.
Okay.
It says
I didn't know how to
shipping
check that,
France.
so I just
Okay.
I prayed.
So it's okay if it's from Amazon.com, I think. Yeah, it's on Amazon France as well.
Okay.
Oh, well, it's a lot more expensive. It's 25 euros.
25 euros?
Yeah.
Okay. Still under budget.
Yes.
Okay, so that's what I'm bringing. I think that is.
This is interesting.
It is. Does it work? I don't know, but it does show. It is a personalized gift, not a gift, purchase order, based on what I know about you. So I think it's a good personal suggestion.
Can I take a minute to just scroll through the listing, the Amazon listing? So it says magnetic phone cooler. Okay, as we've established, it says extreme cooling.
Mm-hmm.
Extreme cooling, semiconductor cooling technology, fast cooling, so it's fast.
So fast.
It says cold at once. So
at once.
Cold at once. So that means something. Low noise. And what else is interesting on there? 3 speeds. 1 for office chatting, 1 for movie short videos, and 1 for gaming. So, okay. Okay, I can game.
Mm-hmm.
And the reviews are pretty good. Like 4.1 out of 5 stars. Yeah. So okay.
So, there you go.
Okay. I really like this position. I like being the judge on something. It's really nice.
All right. My turn?
Your turn.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So there are 2 options in the dock. Don't click on anything just yet, but we're going to focus on the real option. But don't click anything yet. I sat down to do this challenge, and I really thought about Niléane. I put myself in her shoes. I was like, okay, I like yellow. I'm hip. I'm cool. I make fun of the dads. They're old. I call them dinosaurs. I like headphones. I like the Magic Keyboard. I really thought about that. And every single option I came up with was just above $40.
Oh.
And I was like, okay, all right. Let's think about this practically. What is something that I, Christopher Lawley, really enjoy that I think Niléane would also really appreciate? So I literally walked around my studio with my phone, and I was like, okay, how much is this? It's about $40. Okay, how much? No, that's just about $40. And then I came to the real option. You can go ahead and click on it, because Matt said, cables are boring. But I would like to present to you the one cable that's not boring.
So there are 2 links. There's the
real option. You want the real option. We'll talk about the fun option in a second.
Oh, we'll talk about it later. Okay.
Yeah. It's not a real submission, because I knew I was only allowed to pick one, but it's something I actually think you would enjoy, and I wanted to highlight.
Okay, so real option. I click.
So real option. It is this guy right here.
It's a cable. It's a cable. Oh no.
I feel bad.
USB-C cable. I wasn't sure if Matt clicked the link and was like making fun of me.
No,
ahead of time,
I didn't.
But that was perfect.
It's a cable.
It is a cable, but it is the best cable ever made. It is hands down. I have bought so many of these because I love these. These are in my backpack. These are all over my studio. These are all over my house. This is a nylon braided cable, so it feels really good. It lasts a really long time. It's not going to break on you. It does up to 240 watts of charging, so you don't have to worry about any of that stuff. That's all the watts. And it has a built-in cable tie. See?
Okay.
Nice.
Has a built-in cable tie. This right here, I've replaced all of my charging cables with this cable. Like this is the cable I use for everything. And I know you're living your best USB-C lifestyle right now. This is the cable you want. And here's the difference between Matt's pick and mine. I know this works. I know this will work. This will work.
That's a good point.
That's the difference. This will work. You will not waste money on this. You will want to buy more of these after you buy one of them. It is the best cable ever. Now, my only complaint about it is the longest version is 6 feet, so like 2-ish meters. I wish there was a 10-foot option, but other than that, this is a solid
10 foot?
cable.
That's really long.
That is long. I like a good 10-foot cable because I have that. I have this like really big external battery that sits on the backside of my couch that I throw a 10-foot. That is the only cable that I use that's going from that thing that is not one of these. But I throw a 10-foot cable over the couch so I can plug my Switch in while I'm playing on the couch. But anyways, this Niléane, this is the best money you will ever spend right here.
Okay, so Chris, you brought a cable.
I did bring cable, but you know what? I walked around my studio and I was like, I love these cables.
So I have a cable. This is the cable I use all the time. This is the Apple USB-C
Oh, this is so
cable.
much better than the Apple cable. This is so much better than that.
But I don't understand. How is it better?
Does faster charging. It's better quality. The nylon is really nice. I really wish I could just hand this to you right now. And it has a built-in cable tie.
Now, here's what I'll say. As a slanderer of cables as gifts.
Yeah.
A couple years ago, I gave my wife a cable as part of like a birthday gift. There were a few gifts, but a cable was one of them. And she was like, what the heck is this? But Reader, she loves this cable, uses it every day. It is so great. So a very nice cable is actually a nice thing to add. It's a good quality of life thing that you can enjoy every single day.
Yeah. And Danielle has these. She loves them.
Wait,
saying.
Matt, are you defending Chris? This is
Well,
not how it's supposed
I'm trying
to go.
I'm trying to level it out because I didn't mean to accidentally slander
That
the
was so
entire
fantastic.
concept of his gift
That was so fantastic.
or his suggestion.
But this is practical. This works. I know this works. I have a bunch of these.
Okay,
I love
so
them.
I want to know the fun option. What's the fun option?
Okay, so the fun option, you can go ahead and click on it.
Okay.
It's literally a Lego set that I honestly think you would love. That I got this for Danielle for her birthday. This was one of her birthday presents, and she loves it. It just kind of seemed like you. Like I was like, when I ordered it for Danielle, I was like, you know who also would like this? Niléane.
Yep.
And it's like this little plant Lego set, but like they have faces on them, and they have feet, and they're holding hands, and like they're like I don't. It's like Toy Story but plants. I
And
don't
why
really know.
did you choose a cable for your real option?
Because it didn't seem like an actual tech accessory, so I wasn't sure it counted.
Oh.
But it felt like a desk accessory.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't sure if
Okay.
that would fit the spirit of the challenge. That felt more like a good desk accessory for you, but this was a proper tech accessory.
Maybe you could rest your AirPods in the leaves. You'd have to take them out because these are very small. But
Yeah. But you know what you could do is you could wrap your cable up and put it over them.
oh yeah, they could be like a cable holder. Like
It
you
could
could
be a little cable holder thing. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. But anyways, that's the fun option. But I saw that and I wanted to show it to you because I thought that's something you would like.
Yeah, I do. Okay, so I have a choice between a cable and a MagSafe fan for my iPhone to do gaming.
Mm-hmm.
or whatever, or just being alive in the hot year of 2025.
Okay.
Or you can throw an audible and do the fun option, and I can still win.
Well, I was not expecting this choice. I think I will. Okay, so let me check if the cable is on Amazon Friends as well. Sorry.
Yeah, I didn't check that. I just assumed it would be. It's an anchor cable.
Yeah, there's no reason. Yeah, there it is. Okay. It's 19 euros.
Oh, wow. It's even cheaper there.
180 centimeters. Okay. I will place an order on. So the cable I can get on this Sunday. The MagSafe fan on Thursday. Okay. So both.
It's a long
will
time to wait
come.
for a delivery. Wow.
Yeah.
Sunday.
Probably should go with
man.
the cable. Sunday? That's sooner than Thursday.
Yes. I
Wait.
don't know.
Oh no.
Today's Friday, Matt.
I was living in the future.
I don't know what he's saying. Okay. I will place an order for the fan, I think. So the reason why is I have cables. I don't have MagSafe fans.
But you don't have this cable. This cable is amazing.
They do. They really complement each other though in a way. Like if you
They
got
do.
the cable, which has the super high speed charging, your phone would heat up enough that you might want to throw a fan
So
on the back.
how is
Actually,
the fan
half-
powered, by the way? Yeah, that's a good point.
The fan is powered by USB-C, so you have to plug it in. It doesn't look like it has a battery.
I do believe that is the case. Yes.
So
Plug in into what? To the iPhone itself?
you probably could, but
Yeah.
it doesn't look like in the images it doesn't show that, but you probably could.
Yeah, what the heck? Okay, we'll see, I guess. I will review this fan on the show, I suppose. Okay. So, it's too late. I bought it.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well,
Well
Matt.
done, Matt.
This
You
is
win.
the first
I went
challenge I've
boring.
won in this calendar year potentially.
well done, Matt.
I
I
mean, yeah, who would suggest a cable? I've got
I
cable.
thought it was practical. I was going. I was like, I thought about going absolutely bonkers, but I was like, she's not gonna pick something that just doesn't make that she doesn't know works. Like, she's not gonna throw away her money. I went practical. I went too practical.
I'm so happy. This went well, I think. This was
I am
fun.
curious. Are you gonna
Yes.
order the Lego set?
Probably.
Okay, I'm gonna take it as a moral victory.
Okay. I mean, the Lego set's great. We have that as well. It's very nice. It's very cute.
It's about the same price as the fan, so I don't know, but sure. Is it the same
I
price as the fan?
It's right. It looks pretty similar.
It looks similar.
Yeah,
$22 US.
It's about the same. Can you believe Lego set or MagSafe fan?
Lego set.
Only one has magnets.
Okay, so I'll get the fan on Monday, and Monday is the national holiday of France. So perfect.
Do you hear the people singing? Okay, sorry.
What are you saying?
I don't know what that is.
Les Miserables.
Oh.
France.
Yeah, I know France.
They've
I'm
had
aware
several
of-
revolutions. One of them was turned into a musical.
I'm aware of the French things. Yes.
Yeah. All right. So it is my challenge, I believe.
Yay.
Okay.
And
all
thank
right.
you for participating. That was fun.
Yeah, absolutely. This was a fun challenge. I like this. I think we should. This should become like almost like a reoccurring one because I like this one. But for my challenge for you guys, and I had to change it this week from what it originally was, but it is going to be try some new, and in parentheses, it says widget or widgets, and I'm going to bring the Chaos Hammer for this challenge.
Okay.
You can bring as many widgets as you want. It doesn't have to be iOS widgets. It could be widgets on the terminal. You could make your own physical board and put widgets, like physical widgets, in your room. You could try the new Vision OS 2, and if you know a developer that can send you a test flight beta early, you could use the thing where it pins the widgets all over. Go wild. As many widgets as you want, any style of widgets as you want. It's not limited to iOS or any of that stuff. Go ham.
Okay.
It's funny because it doesn't seem like there's much you can do with widgets in general, but yeah, I guess. Yeah.
That's the start of a good challenge.
That's exactly. So doesn't seem like there's much you can do, but I think there is a lot you can do, especially when we're not restricting it just to Apple hardware.
Yeah, that's interesting. Something interesting with widgets. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
actually, that's probably a better title, is something interesting with widgets. I actually like that title better.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, we've proven we can integrate F1 into our workflows. If we can do that, we can do anything.
Successfully. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Niléane, I assume your computer still looks the way it did.
I will. Yes.
You'll never change it. Always will be that way.
This is how I look when I don't lie. My computer looks exactly the same. I will cover my desktop in widgets. Is that what I'm doing next week?
That's the thing. You can do as many as you want. I didn't want it to be just a single widget. You can do it on any platform, any piece of hardware. I was even thinking like you can take a cork board, put a calendar on there, put some Post-it notes, whatever. You can make physical widgets if you want. You can define widgets how you want. Just follow the spirit of the challenge. I think we all know a widget when we see it. You know, it's like the Supreme Court says. All right. Well, that just about brings us to the end of the show. And so I wanted to ask you guys, you know, I usually have a question for you guys at the end of the show, but I actually didn't come up with one this week. So, you know what? I got one. Kind of based off of what we were talking about earlier. What is your favorite musical?
Oh, no question.
Yo, go.
Hamilton.
I knew one of you would do that. Yeah.
I mean, what are musicals?
Singing, dancing, putting on a show.
Okay. La La Land counts?
Yeah. La
counts,
La Land's definitely a musical. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I don't know if that's my favorite, but I really like this one.
I actually really like Les Miserables. Like,
I know. I changed my answer.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm gonna guess you're gonna change it to Cats.
No.
The movie specifically.
Not the movie. Lion King.
Oh,
all the way. I
that's
saw
a good
that one live in Paris a few years ago.
Okay.
In a gorgeous theater, and so good. Love that.
Nice. I actually like Les Miserables. And I like the movie too. You know, Russell Crowe might not be the best person for that role, but Hugh Jackman, You get Hugh Jackman singing, I'm there. Like, I'm just waiting for Wolverine the musical. Like, that's what I need.
Did
I
you
need
say
Wolverine.
Greatest Showman?
Oh God, I forgot about that one.
No,
Except for that
actually-
one.
Didn't quite enjoy that one as much.
I love there's two things that get Chris really going. The first is a Ford anything, and the second is Hugh Jackman.
Mm-hmm.
Why? What is wrong with Hugh Jackman?
No,
No,
I
in a
like
good
Hugh-
way, in
no,
a
I'm
good
saying-
way.
I'm
He's
saying in a
excited.
good way. I like Hugh
okay.
Jackman.
You
Yeah.
like him? Okay.
I like Hugh Jackman. Hugh Jackman seems like the kind of guy I could have a beer with.
He should be president.
Sure. I
Sure.
like that. In Greatest Showman, I like Zac Efron.
Okay.
I think he
I've
plays
kind of
well.
Blocked that movie from my memory. I did not enjoy that movie. I really didn't.
It's
I don't know
not
why.
good.
It's not good. It's not good. I know
The-
some people like die by it, but I'm just like,
I
oh, no.
really like the original music,
Okay.
but the movie by itself is not great. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, let's wrap up there. Thank you all so much for listening. Thank you to Mac Stories for having us. We are a Mac Stories podcast after all. Be sure to go check out all the other writings and shows and stuff. There's a lot of stuff happening over the summer. Matt, Niléane, you guys got anything you want to promote going on this week?
Buy some tourtel. I do not have stakes in this company, but it's really good.
That really sounded suspicious. Like, I don't have stakes in this company. Go
And
buy
again,
some.
this is how I look when I don't lie. So, so you know it's true.
It's impossible to tell.
All right. Thank you all so much for listening. Have a great day.